What's up YouTube, TCG Battles / Collections here, and today I'm giving you a deck profile on my Link Joker deck. So Link, if you don't already know, Link Joker is actually a really good deck if you want to start off Vanguard, if you want to get the starter decks. It centers around like locking your opponent's rear guards. I'm using a Messiah Star Vader combo build, so anyway, for a starter, I use Star Vader Brave Fang. Since I have a lot of legions in this deck, his skill is really good because after he boosts a Vanguard during an attack, if my Vanguard's in Legion, I pick two of my opponent's rear guards and two of my opponent's locked cards, and they stay locked for an extra turn. Really good starter if you're doing like if you have a Legion deck that revolves around a lot of locking. Now for the grade 3s. We'll start off with 4 Alter Ego Messiahs. Alter Ego Messiah comes in the Vanguard G trial deck. So kind of easy to get, but if you're using a Messiah build, he's a must-have. Generation Break 1, Soul Blast 1. When a locked card is unlocked, you can pay the cost and draw a card. His Stride skill, Counter Blast, and you lock one of your rear guards. Your Vanguard gets some 5,000 power, and you lock one of your opponent's rear guards also. But you can only do this when you stride on top of him. So for any Messiah build, you have to have 4 Alter Ego Messiahs, no question. Next we have 1 Star Vader Blaster Joker. Star Vader Blaster Joker is actually a very good card for any Star Vader deck for Link Joker. His Legion ability, Counter Blast 2 and Soul Blast 2, and lock one of your Star Vader rear guards. You lock all of your opponent's rear guards if this unit is in Legion. So it's a really good card. Its other ability, which I personally can't activate at all, if I can discard a card from my hand with the same unit name as a card on the Vanguard circle, and my Vanguard gets +1 critical until the end of the turn. No, wait, it goes straight to the soul, never mind. So, yeah. Blaster Joker, must have in any Star Vader deck. He is that good. Next, another must have for a lot of Link Joker decks, Star Vader Venom Dancer. Its ability, Counter Blast 1 at the end of the battle that this unit attack the Vanguard if this unit is in Legion. You may pay the cost. If you do, for each of your opponent's locked cards, choose up to one of your rear guards and stand it. So really good if you're using. So if you use it in combination with Blaster Joker, like one turn you use Blaster Joker to lock all your opponent's rear guards, and use certain units to keep them locked for an extra turn. Ride this guy, Legion, with him. Then use his other ability, Counterblast 1 card with Star Vader, and choose another unit in your middle column. I mean, if you have another unit in your middle column, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row and lock it. So, in combination with Blaster Joker or any unit that that locks, you'll be able to have your rear guards do multiple attacks. Only thing this ability can't do is stand this guy back up. So that's one small drawback, but it doesn't matter. Next, this guy's okay. I'm just using him to fill up a spot, and I need a Legion in this deck, so Ionization Star Vader Hafnium. His ability, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it's in Legion, choose units equal to the number of your opponent's locked cards from among your units, and those get 5,000 until the end of the turn. So for each of your opponent's locked cards, that's how many of your rear guards get an extra 5,000. I mean, that's how many of your units get an extra 5,000. Then its act ability, Counterblast 2, lock one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row. It's a decent card. I honestly I prefer something a bit better, but what can you do? Next, a card I recently got, Star Vader Chaos Bringer. This guy, Limit Break 4, Counterblast 1 at the beginning of your opponent's main phase. If your opponent has 2 or more locked cards, pay the cost. Search your deck for up to 1 Star Vader Chaos Breaker Dragon from your deck and ride it as stand. So this is a good superior ride if you have a Chaos Breaker Dragon. I'm currently working on getting one to replace to replace this guy, but for now, he's just saving up a spot. But he has a really good ability. Counterblast one card with Star Vader in its name. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, choose up to one of your opponent's rear guards in the back row and lock it. So that's it for the grade 3s. Now on to the grade 2s. Give me a sec. Alright, so first off, we got 3 Sunset Edge Duskblade. If you're using any deck that has grade 4s in it, Duskblade is a must-have because his Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, if it's boosted, you can choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and lock it. Only drawback for this is that if your opponent has grade 3s in the front row, you won't be able to lock them with this ability, but a large majority of Vanguard players have grade 2s in the front row, so yeah, Duskblade you definitely have to have in your deck if you're using G units. Next, I only have 2 Flash Gun Star Vader Osmiums. This card, it's a really good card because it's an Omega Locker, like Brayfang. It has an ability to keep an opponent's rear guard locked for an extra turn. So this guy, when his attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's locked cards, and that card cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. So same ability as Brayfang, but only if the attack hits, and you can only choose one for each of these cards. So that's why I only keep 2 for now. Next, I got 2 Awakening Messiahs. If you're using a Messiah build, then Awakening Messiah is definitely a good card to have in the deck. I only have 2 for now, but I'm thinking of like adding a few more. But anyway, its ability Generation Break 1. This unit, when this unit is unlocked, choose one of your other rear guards and stand it. So let's say he's out and you stride for Alter Ego Messiah and lock him. If you have a card that unlocks, you can choose another one of your rear guards, stand it with an extra 2,000 power. So a really useful card if you want to get multiple attacks in. Next, we have 1 Arrestor Messiah. This card recently pulled. It's an SP. Really good card. Really good for a Messiah build because Generation Break 1. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Messiah in its card name, until the end of the turn, this unit gets 2,000 power and an auto ability. While it's on the rear guard circle, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked the Vanguard. It locks itself, and you lock one of your opponent's back row rear guards. So a really good locker, and it helps with the self-locking because if you have like Amnesty Messiah, it'll get extra power and an extra critical. Next, the Legion for Ionization Star Vader, Unrivaled Star Vader Radon. It's a 12k attacker for Star Vader, so it's not that impressive. It's just good to have a 12k attacker in the deck, so it's not that awesome. Next, a card that I really like, Companion Star Vader Photon. This card's really good because once you place it on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Star Vader in its card name, and your opponent already has a locked card, you lock another one of your opponent's rear guards. So this card is really good. I'm planning on getting a couple more of these. And this is also the Legion made for Blaster Jokers, so really good. Next, the last Legion mate of the deck, Star Vader Sword Viper. When this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, if your Vanguard is Legion, if your opponent already has a locked card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and lock it. So another card that locks a rear guard if your opponent already has a locked card. So before playing cards like this and Photon, you have to make sure that you have units that can lock before playing them. So make sure you already have a locked card before playing these guys. Next, 1 Meteor Monk of the Force Foot. Generation Break 1, Counterblast. When this unit is unlocked, you pay the cost. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's locked cards, and that card cannot be unlocked during his or her next end phase. So this guy has the same ability as Brave Fang and 2 Osmiums, except his ability only activates when he's unlocked. So if you have a card that unlocks your rear guard, other than Awakening Messiah, if this guy's unlocked, you can just counterblast and Omega Lock one of your opponent's rear guards. I only have one for now, but I might add another one in the future. For the last of the grade 2s, I have Star Vader Cold Death Dragon. Its ability, Counterblast 1. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Link Joker Vanguard, and your opponent already has a locked card, pay the cost. If you do, choose your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guard circles and puts the top card of his or her deck onto that rear guard circle face down as a locked card. So this card is good for increasing locked cards for your opponent and kind of making it harder for them to play any more support. I had 2 originally, but it didn't really work out that much for the balance of the deck, so only 1 for now. But that's kind of it. And now we're going on to the grade 1s. Alright, so first things first, perfect guards. I keep 4 of the perfect guards from the trial decks. I don't have from the booster pack, but either way, a perfect guard is still a perfect guard. Next, just for the Messiah build and for power and support, I have 3 Asleep Messiahs, 8,000 power, so good for support and good for like a starting Vanguard if you're the one going first. So it's a good card. Next, another card I recently pulled from one of the latest booster sets, Sacrifice Messiah. Generation Break 1. Lock this when another rear guard is locked. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Messiah in its card name, you pay the cost, which is locking itself. Countercharge 1, which is unflipping 1 face down card in your damage zone, and then one of your other units gets an extra 3,000 power. So his ability only activates if he's already out. So if he's already out and you lock one of your opponent's rear guards, or any rear guard is locked for any means, this card locks itself. You unflip 1 damage, and one of your rear guards gets an extra 3,000. So even if you verse another Link Joker, another guy that uses Link Joker, if he locks one of your rear guards, this guy locked itself. You've unflipped 1 damage, and one of your cards gets an extra 3,000 power. So a really good support card. Next, another new card for my deck, Lady Battler of the White Dwarf. Generation Break 1, while this card's on rear guard, when it boosts, pick a card that's locked and unlock it, and if you do, the boosted unit gets an extra 4,000. So this is like an 11k booster. Really good. And it's really good for like the unlocking portion of this deck, so the more you have, the better. But for now, I just have 1. Next, Providential Child of Gravitational Collapse. This card's a pretty good card. I only have 1, but its Generation Break is Counterblast 1 and lock one of your other rear guards and just draw a card. So really good for the self-locking portion of Link Joker. You can use it as many times as you want, and you get to draw an extra card. Not bad. It's just a waste of damage though. I mean, unless you use Sacrifice Messiah to unflip that damage at the same time, then basically you use this to lock a card. This card locks itself, and you unflip the damage. So it's really good. It's a really good combo. Next is Star Vader Volt Line. This is a really good booster because when an attack hits a Vanguard during the battle, this unit boosted. Choose one of your opponent's locked cards, and it can't be unlocked until the end of his or her next end phase. So another Omega Locker. Really, so in total, I got a few Omega Lockers in this deck, so not bad. And the last grade 1 is Demon Claw Star Vader Lanthanum. This guy is just an easy power up because when he's already out on rear guard, if your opponent's rear guard is locked due to an effect from one of your cards, if you have a Link Joker Vanguard, it gets an extra 2,000 power. So it's good to have at least one of these in handy, just in case you need like a really strong booster. And on to the triggers. I only have 2 draw triggers for this deck because I mainly focus on critical triggers. So you have 2 Beloved Child of Super Strength Theory. Its act ability, put it into the soul. One of your units gets an extra 3,000 power. So good for boosting your Vanguard or Rearguard power for an all-out attack. Next, I have 1 Pulse Monk of the Quaking Foot. And all I got, like, let's see, 4, 7, 10 critical triggers in this whole deck. So I got 1 Pulse Monk with a Quaking Foot, 3 Star Vader Wise Soul Dates, 3 Star Vader Paradigm Shift Dragon. Its ability, put this card on the top of your deck if you have a Vanguard with Star Vader in its card name. If your opponent has a locked card, choose up to one of your opponent's back row units, rear guards, and lock it. Then shuffle your deck. So another guy that locks. And on the bright side, this guy ends up coming into your hand. You can just shuffle him back into the deck to use his ability, and then you have another chance of getting a critical trigger. And last but not least, 4 Star Vader Apollonel Dragon. And then we have the heal triggers of the deck. All right, now for the last part of the video, I'm gonna be I only have 5 G units in this deck. So I have 4 Genesis Dragon Judgment Messiah. Its ability, when this unit's attack hits a Vanguard, choose a rear guard in your opponent's back row and lock it, and then unlock one of your locked cards. So really good with like the whole Awakening Messiah, with the whole unlocking portion of this deck. It's really good because you can activate a bunch of abilities by unlocking your rear guards. So I have 4 of that, and last I have Nebula Dragon Maximum Seal Dragon. Its ability, Counterblast 1. This unit gets when this unit attacks a Vanguard, pay the cost. This card gets an extra 5,000 power for each locked card until the end of the battle. So it doesn't just count your opponent's locked cards, it counts your locked cards, which is good for the self-locking portion of this deck. So after you stride on top of Alter Ego Messiah, lock one of your own rear guards, lock your opponent's rear guard, then you can use a bunch of your other rear guards to lock your opponent's rear guards. In total, if you lock all your rear guards and all of your opponent's rear guards, this guy can get an extra 50,000 power. The most I've ever done is give him an extra like 30,000 power, but still, you never really know. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. If you want to see more in the future, and have any suggestions for any decks, please let me know. And again, this is TCG Battle / Collections. Hope you guys enjoyed this.